well, what's the I don't give my banking. I don't want to give my banking. I don't know where it is. And then very quickly, a lot of the times as a new agent, we immediately go to tomorrow or later, or we feel like we're pushing them to do something that is against their will. All right. Now, how do I know that? Because I've been there. We all got to start somewhere. Right. But it's hard to act like it's no big deal when you need to make the money. Is that fair to say? A lot of
Yep.
you guys are on here like, dude, I need to make money like yesterday. So when they say something like, I don't want to get my bank account, you're like, the easiest route is to let them do that so that I don't lose the sale. Who feels that way?
Sure.
Let's go. All right. This is interactive. You know what I mean? Like, dude, I know. So you have to train yourself on no big deal. You have to. You got to know that they're going to say something like, man, I don't get my social security number out. What's your no big deal statement that you're going to say to that? I don't know where my bank account is. What's your no big deal statement you're going to say to that? See, because you can go over here and say, well, Dom says this, well, and Bryce says this, and Rami says this. Well, I don't care what they say, Connor. The moral of the game is that they make the client feel like it's no big deal. The guy goes, I don't know where my banking is. Darren goes, in his mind, no big deal. Hey, dude, you just wait here, man. I'll see if we partner. You find it. Darren said, I act like this happens all the time. Some of y'all, me included, when I started, I acted like it never happened. So it scared me and scared the damn client. So they were like, damn, like, shoot, I guess this is a bigger deal. Like, oh, that worked. I told him I didn't know where my bank account was and I'm an adult. That worked. Sometimes we have to step out of sales mode and realize, dude, we're talking to adults. Darren talked to that guy like he was an adult, not like, oh, he's a child who doesn't know what his bank account is. You know, the last time I didn't know my social was when I was like 13 years old. No, the last time I didn't know my bank account was never. So we got to remember that stuff because when you get in sales mode, you start to think, well, let me just make the bed right for the client. I'm like, dude, that ain't really what's going to help the client. You're going to put them to bed in a bed that they're going to die in, that they ain't going to be protected. You might as well mess the bed up, kick them out the bed, and remake the bed with them. Make sense? That's I don't know. That's how you got to think about this. But it's no big deal that we got to make up the bed. It's no big deal. Everything is no big deal. Let's put down. Can you guys put in the chat box just a list of objections, even if you haven't started. You in your mind, you got objections right now that you in your mind right now that you're like, dude, what if they say this? I want you to put those in the chat. Okay. I want you to put the ones, anything that if you're active, put them in the chat as well. All right. So we can go there and we're going to go through as many as we can. And we're going to give you no big deal responses. No big deal. Okay. Because there are big deal responses. There's a way to respond that makes it a big deal. Makes sense? Like no big deal. All right. So let's roll through some of that. All right.
And objections are just anything that feels like slight resistance. You know what I mean? Like just
Yes.
anything that isn't along the lines of a yes or keeping moving forward. So it doesn't have to be, there's always the typical ones like, yeah, talking to wife, not interested, Social Security, banking, great, great. Like I'm glad we're gonna go over it. But anytime, like
Ooh.
if you're on the phones and you're new, there are 100% things that are like, they said this, wasn't really sure what to do next. Like it's super important that you're intentional about noting those moments because that's how you're going to get better. And any sort of awkward, I didn't really know what to say, didn't really know what to do. If you feel yourself kind of pulling stuff out of your behind just to keep it moving forward, that's something where, all right, if they say that again, I want to know how to better navigate it. So any of those things, let's
Yes.
let's talk about.
Yes. Great articulation of what this is. All right. And you guys got some good ones in here. Yeah, some really good ones. All right. Let's start with we have a couple that are kind of we got not interested on there a couple times. Okay. Let's do that one, all right? And let's do not interested early in the conversation, because that'd be weird if they said not interested after I after I gave them all my stuff, right? Nobody really runs into not interested after that, right? But not interested is typically the beginning of the conversation, that first paragraph, right?
Yep.
Okay. So Bryce, throw that at me. Let's role play this, okay?
All right,
All
cool.
right, ring ring.
Hello?
Hey Bryce.
Yeah, who's this?
Bryce, this is Dom. I'm actually getting back to you about that veterans life insurance. You saw us on Facebook. All right, and you put your beneficiary down as Mary. I'm assuming you remember filling that out, right?
Yeah, but I'm not interested in the life insurance
Hey,
anymore.
Bryce, great dude. I'm not interested either, but you put down your wife's name as Mary. Is that correct?
Right, yeah, that's my wife's name.
Okay, cool. Well, let me do this. Since it shows that we haven't got you the information back, at least, I'm going to get it back to you. And whatever you do with it from there is totally your call. Grab a pen and paper real quick. Let me get this to you.
Okay.
All right. That's no big deal. I heard you. I acknowledge it. But dude, there's no confusion, bro. You ain't died yet. Like, I'm selling you life insurance and you're alive. Like, why in the hell would I buy what you just told me? But I acknowledge it here. Let's move forward. All right. Now, Bryce, you do it. Now, I'll be the client and you give me whatever you would say.
Cool.
Okay.
All right, ring
Ring,
ring.
ring. Hello.
Hey, Dom.
Yeah, this is Dom. Who's this?
Hey, Dom, this is Bryce. Just getting back to you. Saw that form on Facebook. It was about the life insurance for veterans. I'm the underwriter
Yeah,
assigned to help you out with that. Looks like you listed
yeah,
your
man. I'm
people in
not.
the.
I'm not interested in that anymore, man. You can take me off the list.
Hey, no problem at all. I assume you're saying that because you either thought it was going to be too expensive or you just didn't think you qualify for anything.
Yeah, man. Everybody's been quoting me all these high prices, man. I'm on a fixed income. I can't afford this.
Perfect. Hey, well, good news is everybody I've helped out today is on a fixed income. My job is to help you get matched up where you can find your coverage for the lowest cost. All right. Just to confirm, you listed you were in the Army, correct?
That is correct.
All right, perfect. Do me a favor, just grab a pen and paper. I just need you to write down my full name and my state license number so you know who you're speaking with.
Boom. No big deal. No big deal. Okay. Now let's go to another one. All right. Let's go to I think Leon. I don't make decisions without talking to my wife.
Hmm.
Okay. This is big. Okay. Now this one here, I'm gonna have to acknowledge this at the setup of the conversation. Okay. Leon or anybody on here, well, you asked the question, bro. So, but what we're gonna during the structure piece, okay, when he's writing your name down and you figure out if he's married and stuff like that. During that time, you got to ask him. I got to ask Bryce. Hey, Bryce, you put your beneficiary down as Cassie. Is she there with you? Say no.
No, she's in the other room.
Oh, she's in the other room. Okay, have her come in the room with you so she can hear this out. I'm assuming she's the beneficiary, right?
Yeah, she's like folding laundry right now.
Oh, okay. Now you let me know. All right. Is this something that you're going to need her on the phone to make a decision with? Okay. Or should we schedule something later to have her on? How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, we handle it, any kind of anything like this together. I was just hoping to get some quotes so I can give her some numbers.
Okay, great. So what we're going to do is you can either have her come in now and we can talk about it, or I can call you later and we can talk about this together. All right. Because me telling you, then you telling her is like playing telephone when you were 12. You remember that game?
Yeah. She's not going to stop folding.
Remember by the time it got to the third or fourth person, it was completely different than what was said initially?
Right. No, I hear you.
Yeah. So can she come to the room now or you want to schedule something later?
I'll go to her. She's not going to stop, so I'll go to her.
Boom. That's typically what's going to happen, you guys, is he's going to get up and just go to her. Because, dude, people, when you see the value of like, all right, they're going to do it with me now, they're not budging on both of us. They're either going to take it or they're going to leave it.
Mhm.
Both are okay, but you got clarity. All right. So, Quad, I don't want to be on the phone with people forever and then find that out. Now, I set that up at the beginning. He gives me the okay. There's a lot of bravado in men, women, not so much. Okay. But in men, they'll act like they can do stuff and then they get down to actually doing it and they act like they can't. Okay. I've never dealt with this with a woman. Okay. Men, be aware. We got egos. Okay. So they'll say, yeah, I can handle it on my own. Double down with that person and say, hey, are you sure, dude? There's a lot of guys out here who say they can handle it. Then we get down to it and they're like, oh, I don't make decisions about my wife. Is that, nah, man, I can do it on my own. All right, cool. Then we get down to it. Now it's time for them to give me the information. And then they go, you know what? I got to think about it. Now, you know that I want to think about it means I need to talk to my wife. So you don't even ask them what you need to think about. You just say, hey, Bryce, remember earlier when you said you don't need to talk to your wife? What are we doing now? All right. Has in the history of me selling insurance, I've never had a beneficiary say, why did my husband leave me this so much insurance? And in your case, you have none. So you really think you need to talk to your wife about getting approval to take care of her when you die? And then I wait and I'm silent, Connor. I stop speaking. You shut up because I already have the ammo. I got it earlier. Okay. So now when it's ready for me to shoot the ammo, when he says something stupid at the end, I say it and I let it sit. The problem is once we get there, you guys, I don't doubt a lot of you guys are setting the table. Once you get there, you speak too much. You start acting like it's like a puzzle you got to figure out versus, dude, there's no puzzle, bro. There's one piece missing and it's you saying, let's go. That's it. So silence is huge when you have the ammo. If you got no ammo, silence is kind of weird. Be honest with you. You feel me, Bryce?
Yeah, definitely.
Because they have nothing to think about. But now they're sitting on it. Yeah, I did say that earlier. Yeah. But that's not allowing you to trust the situation because we know it's not your wife. You told me earlier that you make decisions without reason. So what is it about me? So quad, they say I don't make decisions without my wife or my spouse, but the real thing is they don't trust me in this situation. So I got to circle all the way back to the trust piece. And once they realize, yep, he did call that out earlier, he did verify that. It does have to do with my trust with him with this transaction in this process. But I respect the way that he's calling me out on that. And let's move forward. Or let's not. Either way, there's no confusion though. Because the overcoming objections, you guys, isn't closing deals. A lot of you may hear that. Man, you overcome objections so you close deals. No, you overcome objections so my self-image stays intact. The way you see yourself as a businessman or woman, dude, don't let your clients batter you around with all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I got to protect me. So if I overcome the objection and they don't buy, you know who's safe to call his next client? You know who's in a good mental space to call the next lead? You, Connor. Tom, who just like, dude, Tom, hey, man, I gave it all I got with Tom. Tom didn't want to buy insurance. F it. Makes sense? It is what it is. Let me call the next one. But if I sit there and harbor over what Tom did and think it's going to roll over into my next appointments. So this has to be black and white, no gray area. Mm-hmm. And it's not closed. If I closed it, I overcame the objection. And if I didn't close it, I didn't overcome the objection. You can't have your scoreboard be like that. Because there's many times to where I didn't close, but I overcame the objection and my posture was so good that I was on fire the rest of the day. Because I didn't get taken advantage of. That's what this is about. All right. So don't see overcome objections as you got to close them all.
I remember.
But are you in a good spot?
My first sales job, like I would come back and I would just feel so beaten up. And my manager would talk to me. He's like, "Look, dude, I'm going to work with you on your posture and it's not out there for you to start closing all these deals all of a sudden. I don't want you going out there and just getting ragdolled all day and feeling like people are beating you up. You know what I mean? And so that's what so much of this is about is it's not necessarily like Dom said, not every single, we aren't talking about these for the intention of closing everybody. Like nobody does that. No, don't listen to objection handling and think like, oh, that's going to work every single time. And like, that's the magic word track to sell everybody. No, so much of this is just about keeping your pride intact. Right. And like exactly like Dom said, I can't reiterate that enough, where it's just like, all right, feeling good about moving on to the next person, knowing you did everything you could to help them as best as possible. and it's just not going to be everybody. So let me just keep going to the next person. But the more you feel like you're just getting tossed around out there on the phones, the less excited you are about calling the next person and keeping it moving. You know what I mean? It's about having confidence in what you're doing, you doing the right thing. That's so huge. Love it.
All right, so here's the next one. Yelling at you. We got that. Not interested. Okay. Um, Scott, is this via text or on the phone? They tell you stop calling. Oh, give me some
That
clarity there.
that was on the phone. They kind of left a voicemail, but then they hung up before I could answer, and so I thought, well, I'll call them back just to see if maybe if they know I'm not a telemarketer, but they were still
Okay.
unhappy.
All good, dude. Hey, dude, it's just gonna happen. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's gonna happen. People are gonna say stop calling, whatever. Do I stop calling? No. The way they get me to stop calling is if they block my number. If they block my number, then I gotta stop. Then I'm calling from a different one. Makes sense. It is what it is. Um, let's see. I don't remember filling out any forms. This is a big one. Okay. This is a big one. And this is one that I used to get frustrated when I heard. And then it actually would make them actually push away a little bit more. Okay. Because they would say, like, oh, I don't remember filling that out. And then I'd say something like, well, you're online and you remember you put this thing down and and they like, it would kind of force them to try to remember. And that doesn't work. All right. So when they say, hey, I don't remember filling it out, my go-to is no worries. I forgot what I had for breakfast this morning. You know what I mean? And that was only a few hours ago. You know what I mean? So no worries, let alone what I filled out on the internet. But Connor, you put your wife's name down was Betsy. Is that right? And that you were in the Marines? Yeah, that's all right, cool. Remember, you guys, instead of hearing what I'm saying, remember no big deal. No big deal. All right. I don't remember filling this out. Great. I don't remember that for breakfast this morning, let alone what I filled out on the internet. Now they're like, oh, you understand me. Got it. And deep down in their head, actually not even deep, right there in the front of their head, they do remember. That's just their initial thing to say. People just say that. Now I don't remember filling that out. Yeah, it was that veterans life insurance. You know what I mean? You die, you want Mary to get some money. Oh yeah, no big deal. All right. Versus, well, are you sure? Remember it was the thing online and like if you sound desperate as you're trying to explain to them what they filled out, you're going to turn them off. You want your explanation of what they did to be like you're sitting back in your lounge chair and your feet are up and you're just twiggling your toes while you're talking to them. Make sense? Like you don't want to feel like, oh, I'm freaking. Rah. You want them to feel, wow, like I just said I don't remember, and he acted like, who cares if I don't remember? I said I'm not in. He said it doesn't really matter because they're so sure that anybody who fills this thing out wants what they have. All right, so that's another thing. This self-talk, this self-belief. Um, I've never heard of that carrier. Oh, this is a good one, Michaela. I've never heard of that carrier. All right, so what I'd say to people is, great. Which ones have you heard of? All right, so here's my part. Here's the part to where you got to understand why I'm saying this. People ask questions for two reasons. Two reasons and two reasons only. They genuinely want the information, okay, or they're trying to mess with you. When somebody goes, they've never heard of that carrier, do you think they genuinely know about every damn insurance company out there under the sun? Or do you think they're just trying to mess with you? Because there's life insurance of the Southwest, life insurance of the Northwest, life insurance of the Southeast, life insurance of, I mean, like, come on, you guys. You got the ones on TV who market, you got the fraternity, like, dude, there's hundreds of thousands of insurance companies. And you know, when they asked me that, Michaela, what I used to say, well, I've never heard of Americo. I would give them some proper ass response like, well, they've been around since 1905 and they're an A+ rated company and and you know what that ever did? That never turned into a sell. Ever. But when Sean let me know, dude, they're trying to mess with you. So when they go, hey, I've never heard of Americo, I go, great. Which ones have you heard of? Well, I guess we'll just go with that one. So just tell me which one you like, and then we'll go with that one. And they'll be like, well, what do you mean? I'm like, yeah, exactly. What do you mean? If you knew so much about insurance, why don't you already have it? Why don't you let me do my job? You'd be like, that's mean. No, it's not. What's mean is me going to get my oil changed and tell me to change my oil, how to change my oil. That's mean. Make sense? So we got to realize the positions that we're in. So when people ask you, how long has that company been around? I've never heard of them, right? That kind of goes, that's all it is trust. They're trying to shy off their lack of trust for you on the insurance carrier. You hear, they don't care. Over time, you're going to hear, they don't trust me. This is big stuff.
And Dom,
Because the
100%.
clients will use, yeah, the
sorry,
clients will use the carrier as a scapegoat. You know, how long have you been doing this, Michaela? I'll tell all my clients when they go, how long have you been doing this? Oh, I've been doing this like 30 years. I was in their house and I was 24 years old, 25 years old. And they said, how long have you been doing this? I've been doing this 30 years. Well, you just said you were 24. I know. Why did you ask me that question? What does it matter how long I've been doing this? You know, and none of that matters. They're trying to mess with you. And when you show them that you understand they're trying to mess with you, they stop. You know, hey, let me get a card. Hey, you got a card you can send me? Yeah, I do. You got one? I used to be like, yeah, here's one. Let me get it to you. Now it's like, yeah, I got one. You got one? And they're like, no, why you ask me that? I don't know. Same way you asked me. I want one of your cards just like you want one of mine. Well, no. Yeah, I know. Dude, you're asking me for a card because you're trying to let me off easy right now. I'm letting you know I'm not that soft. So you'll get a card after we find a product for you and that you get placed. Otherwise, my number's the same number I called you on. You don't need my card. Now they know, God, he's playing chess, not checkers. This isn't pushing people. This is just being aware. Let's just be more aware of what people are saying and why they're saying it. So they genuinely want the information or they're trying to mess with you. You know, I've never heard like that company. I never heard of them before. Great. Which ones have you heard of? And like, are you looking to like buy the insurance companies or something? You want to know the liquidity of them? You want to know how much they're worth? Because that's the only reason these questions would matter is if you're looking to partner with the insurance company or you want shares with Mutual of Omaha. Which one of those is you? And I don't know if I'm the right person to talk to about that. You totally throw them off of like, dude, are you looking to buy the insurance company or are you just looking to get an insurance policy? I'm looking to get a policy. So why are you asking me stuff like that? You know I don't know the answer and you know it doesn't matter. Woo! So Michaela, I know that was a lot to your short statement, but there's so many of those things that happen throughout these processes that you got to know, are they genuinely want the information or are they trying to mess with me? I want a policy for $50 and they're 80 years old. Do you think they're trying to mess with you or they genuinely want a policy for $50? See, a lot of the times you get caught trying to do that for them, right? Well, they told me what they want, or they're 80 and they want $1 million. Okay, dude, that's not actually what they want. They just got you doing a dance right now. I had a guy, real quick story. I had a guy, and some of y'all know this guy, but he shot me a lead. It was a vet lead. On the lead, it said, if you can't get me $1 million policy for less than $30 a month, don't call me. Connor, we still called him. Okay. Called him up. I sat with him. He BS'd with me. Then I gave the lead to like probably 5, 6 other agents, right? And they all got appointments and got played with as well. Then he filled out another lead. Then I paid for it again. And I was like, shoot. All right. So I called him up and I go, hey man, we got your lead back in. We got your form back in for insurance. And I know you put on here that you don't want anything less than $1 million for less than $30. Like we already talked before, you're either going to get insurance today or you're going to stop filling these forms out. So what do you want to do? Well, let me see what you got. You know what we got. I need to know your budget. Tell me the most you can spend on insurance and we can get you that. We'll see if we can get you that. Either you're going to do it like that or we can stop this conversation Next thing you know, that policy's still in the books. It was like $500 a month. He went from I don't want it if it's less than 30, if it's more than $30 for a million, and then he got, I think it was only 15, maybe 30,000, 20, 25,000. He was old. You know what I mean? He was old. He was like 80 years old. I think Zach got the lead. Bryce may have got the lead. I think there's about 4 of us that talked to this guy. You know, and it was just that day was the day that he was ready for it. I think everybody leveled up with him, was straight with him, but you just never know what the day is going to be for them. You know, so genuinely want the information, or they're trying to mess with you. And that guy was trying to mess with us. All right. Here, let's see.
Dom, I just want to add one thing to that, because I used to get that a
Yes.
lot too. What helped me stop getting that is by stop trying to sell the company while I was giving them numbers. Right?
There
Like
you
I
go.
used to, and I hear it new age. I used to do it. You used to hear a lot of new agents doing it. Like when it comes down to showing numbers, I would go like, all right, Scott, so here's what we're going to look at. Permanent level and immediate, price never changed, coverage never changed. And the company is Mutual of Omaha, great company, been around forever, probably saw the ads on TV. Like I would say something like that. That would spark the, never heard of them. It's like a pushback on me. Like anytime they feel you trying to sell something, they're gonna push back. So they felt me trying to like sell the company. Or I would say this stuff about Americo to get out in front of them saying something about not knowing Americo. You know what I mean? But what helps with that is now my clients, and for the last couple of years, they don't know what company they have until it's approved. And when you're new, when you first start, you might think like, "What? You sell insurance to people and they don't know what company it is?" Yes. And when you start getting consistent and successful, you do the same thing. Is you're selling them what the insurance is doing, the amount of coverage, them picking a plan that fits their budget, seeing if they can get approved, and then afterwards, all right, cool. So you were approved by Americo, and then go through it. But this is after it's done. You know what I mean? So, Michaela, I don't know. You may want to think about if you're saying too much, or if you're even saying the company at all before you show numbers, just stop. Just talk about what the plan is going to do and pick a plan that fits their budget. Then, if they're approved, tell them what company it is.
Hey, there's 2 here that I think are very good. I'm not making any final decisions today. How do you handle that, Bryce?
Let's assume it's in the beginning, right? Because
Yep.
I don't know, maybe you get that at the end after you show numbers, but like if it's in the beginning, again, this is just I just try to get way out in front of things. So I don't make, hey, just letting you know off the rip, I'm not making any decisions today. Got it. Well, first of all, Dom, I don't even know what you're like. You can't. My job is just to help you find out what you qualify for. So my job is just to help you find a size plan that no brainer fits your budget. And my job is just to help see if we can even get you approved for it. So we don't even know if you're approved for it. But if we can, Scott, if we find something that you understand the plan, you know exactly how it works, it covers your needs, and it does exactly what you're looking to do for it, and it fits your budget, is there any reason why you wouldn't apply for that today? Like, again, it fits your needs, it accomplishes what you're looking to accomplish. You understand exactly how the plan works, and it's an amount that you can no-brainer afford. If we can accomplish all 3 of those things, is there any reason why we would not submit an application? If they say no, there's nothing else I can do. They're basically telling you, hey, I'm gonna waste your time, but we don't, like, I'm not gonna pull the trigger. Like, I want to move on to people that are gonna, I can help. But if they say, yeah, like, well, yeah, like I was just concerned about budget or seeing how much it costs. Got it. Hey, my job is to help you make sure it no-brainer fits your budget. And then again, I'll reiterate. So assuming we can find something that fits your needs, you understand how it works, and you can no-brainer afford it, is there any reason why you wouldn't see if you can get approved for it? Yes? All right, cool. Well, then we'll proceed. So that's how I handle
All
that.
right. If you're watching this right now on a replay, that piece that he just did right there is a major, major replay. Okay? Because what he just did was buy himself time. You guys, they're not saying that because they genuinely feel like they don't make decisions today. They're saying that because it's a stranger who's calling them off a freaking Facebook, and they figure, dude, I got to be there. I'm a buying ass fool. So let me say that I'm not going to buy early in the conversation. See, people who are buyers, they say stuff like that. Buyers say that because they know, dude, if let me try my best to like get out of this before I say yes to this. Okay. So, but he bought himself some time to gain the trust. That statement didn't gain trust. That statement kept the client on the phone. And then when Bryce gets into financial inventory, the why, all that, now he's going to start breaking down a lot of those barriers that had the client saying that they didn't want to make any decisions today. So by the time it actually gets time to make a decision, it's gone. That's gone. Right? But you got to learn how to buy yourself the time at the beginning of the conversation. So major replay right there, that piece right there. All right, that was huge. All right, next one here, Bryce. This was, oh, you're taking too long. I gotta go. What'd you say there? I got a response to that, but what do you think? What would you say? Somebody you're early in your conversation. This is taking too long? How long is this going to take? Something like that, I guess.
Dom, I'm not here to waste your time, but this is going to take as long as it's going to take till we get you approved. All right. Now, did you mention what was your height?
6 foot.
And just keep it moving.
There you go.
Like hey, I'm not here to waste your time, but like I have a process, and this is going to take however long it's going to take until we can get this taken care of for you. All right, and then just ask the next question. Just let them know you're not messing around either. Like, dude, I'm not here to waste your time.
Correct. I'm not messing around either, dude. You know, and is that Claudio? I think asked that. Claudio, the more that no big deal of like, yo, I hear you, dude. They're trying to rush you, but I'm here to protect your family. I'm here to help you. You ain't here to help me. And sometimes we feel like they're helping us, so we speed up. We got to slow down. Like, hey, man, like, no, there's no cookie cutter approach to this. Man, I'll go as fast as I can, but we're going to make sure that we get you in the right situation. You know, and if, hey, dude, you're in that big of a hurry. You know what I mean? Like, seriously, like, do you always treat people like this? I always like to say stuff like this, like especially if they're being rude. All right. Do you always treat people like this who are trying to help you and your family?
Mm-hmm.
When I was in the home, if I was sitting there with a husband and wife, or even just a single person, right? And they're sitting there with their arms crossed or something like that. So like, hey man, is he always like this? Looking like he's about to jump across the table and kill me. You know what I mean? Like, cause yeah, like y'all don't need a guard dog because you got him. You know, and then, you know what that does? It relaxes the client. Now their arms come unfolded. Now you're there. So you got to do some of those things early in the conversation with our clients, even over the phone with telesales. Do you know what I mean? All right, man, how long is this going to take? Dude, it's going to take as long as it needs to take. But do you always treat people who are trying to help you when you die like this? Because this is weird. I don't have people who treat me like this when they're about to, like, when I'm talking about giving their family a check and stuff. So is this, are you cool? You're talking, like, you thought you were talking to somebody else, huh? Dude, you just totally flipping on them. Like, hold on. Like, yeah, dude, I'm the guy who's going to be here when you're gone for your family. So let's, like, you want to start over? Use that one a lot too. When things are going left a little bit early and you got to like center with the client, just be like, hey, Bryce, looks like we're getting a little bit too far ahead of ourselves. Okay. Would you like to start over? All right. So let me just start over. Hey, Bryce, it's Dom giving you a call back about the Veterans Life Insurance. You know, the form you filled out, sent back to us. Dude, it totally mess them up. Now they're like, dude, is this fool like really like starting over with me right now because he believes in this so much? Yeah, because there's no reason why anybody would be that mean to somebody who's trying to help their family. So you must have thought I was somebody else trying to sell you something that wasn't important. You know? And when you can believe that much in what you're selling, the client will get out of their own way. They'll get out of their own way.
And that's a huge reason why the first question, after we have them write down name and say license number, the first question in the script is beneficiary. Like in that situation, I'll pull back to the beneficiary. If you can use the beneficiary's name, like just to remind them what the heck we're doing here. When they start going off and giving like, look, hey, Dom, again, I'm not here to waste your time. I'm just trying to help you. But hey, what we're talking about is making sure that Mary gets a check when you die. We're on the same page with that? Cool. Now you're gonna let me do my job so I can help you make sure she gets a check when you die? You know what I mean? Like that's what we're talking about. And when you can, sometimes you just got to bring it back to that, and using their name is super powerful. It kind of try to take them away from all this stuff that doesn't matter and get back to the task at hand, which is their daughter getting a check. You know what I mean?
That's it. That's it. Yeah, Kachina had one in here. Already have a plan. I know we kind of hit on this earlier, what Zach was talking about, kind of using that as a stepping stone versus a roadblock. Okay, um, and already have a plan doesn't mean you have to replace it. Okay, that was my fight early. I heard, oh, I got insurance. Then I'll be like, oh shoot, how much is it? Oh, I gotta beat it. Then that never worked. So the line of questions, Katina, for anybody who has a policy already is, when did you get it? That's probably the most important conversation. The question is, when did you get that? So already have a plan. Great, makes my job a lot easier. Say that every time, all right? Remember, we got to get them on the no big deal train. They thought what they were saying was going to make it a big deal. They thought them saying already have a plan was going to make it be Armageddon. This is reality, you guys. And this is where that whole no big deal comes from. They go, oh, already have a plan. Hey, great. That makes my job so much easier. I hate calling the people who don't have it already. All right, so when'd you get that? You see how more open they would be to tell me the truth? Man, oh, great. That makes my job a lot easier. I hate calling the people who don't have it. So when did you get yours? Oh, I got it like 10 years ago. All right, cool. So you already know the process and everything. I'm assuming with inflation and everything, you realize, shoot, you may need some more, right? Yeah. Now they go, I got it 2 weeks ago. And I go, great. Makes my job a lot easier. I'm assuming you're just shopping around to ensure during that first 30 days that you got the best plan out there so you don't lose your money. Both of those things fit both of those people. Make sense? I mean, so it doesn't, they already have it. They had it a long time. Say the first. They just got it. Say the latter. Now it's very assumptive. And even if the shoe don't fit, clients aren't that argumentative to tell you anything different. So they're just going to rock with it. And that's going to buy you time to find the real why. The real why. See, the assumptive why at the beginning, when they're trying to give you some pushback, is just to get the ball rolling. Let me just get this thing rolling. Because if I keep asking you open-ended questions, we ain't going to go nowhere. Right? We ain't going nowhere. So let me close off these questions and lead you to where I believe majority of people are going to fall in your scenario. And that's going to buy me time to get to the why, get to everything else. Okay? Let's see. Let's go. Anything else with anything? I don't remember filling out any form. Stop calling. All right, I think we got everything unless somebody. Social security number. It's really about how you ask it. I think when you're going through your structure piece, be very slow down at that piece. All right. I think when you run into Social Security or banking is when you're kind of mumbling through the structure piece. Okay. When you get to that structure piece, hey man, like Bryce, it's gonna be like at the car dealership. They're gonna need their social, okay, to make sure to identify who you are, your banking account, because nobody can take insurance out in your name from a different bank account. That would be fraud. Okay. And and X, Y, or Z. I want to be very clear with those things. And then after I say that, I'm gonna say, hey Bryce, does that all make sense to you? You have any you'll be able to get all that if we need it, if we get that far?
Yep.
Versus, hey, does that make sense? And they're just, yeah, okay, I'll move on. No, if we get that far, Bryce, I need to make sure that you're able to get that information. Well, I don't want to give out that information. I didn't say that you had to give out that information. I said if we get that far and it makes sense to you, you have access to that information. See, this type of clarity, all right, will allow you to buy time and get them on the trust side of you. But if you, at that point, when they go, well, I don't want to do that, or I don't want to give you and if I don't go, if If I make it like they have to, now I turn them off too early in the conversation. If I make them feel like they have to, I got to make them feel like if we get there and if, like Bryce says, it handles these one, two, three things, would you be able to? Yes. Anybody who can't commit to something that's down the line if it fits into their needs, that's very weird. But it does take some courage to say it and articulate it that way. Because you may feel like, man, I don't want to say that. I may lose the sale. Well, I'm sure you're going to lose the sale if you don't say it. So questions, comments about any of that? I know we're coming up on the end.
I think that,
yeah.
anytime I don't want to give you my social, it's because I knew I rushed through the building the need and the value part. Because so much trust is built through finding the need. Right. And what I mean by that is, all right, we got our script that we practice for release presentations. That's the intro. Then we start filling out financial inventory, asking questions about the budget, then their health. Then the very important chunk of the sale before we start getting into application and showing numbers is building the need. So when you can really dig into who their beneficiary is, what they're looking to accomplish with this coverage, what it would look like without, and at that point, you kind of insert things about yourself, like, I'm so sorry to hear my dad passed without any insurance too, and this is what it looked like for my family. You know what I mean? You like really get on the same page as this person and really become the person that can bring value and help them. Dude, when you get there, you don't get stuff like I don't give my social to those people. So I know if I ever get into an application and they say I don't give you my social, I don't give my like, why do I have to give you my social? They don't view me as a person that's bringing them value, that really feels like I'm filling their need. I skip too fast through that part because that for me, that's where I build trust is by uncovering, getting them to share why they filled out this form, what this plan is going to do for their family. And it also gives me an opportunity to be vulnerable as well, talk a little bit about myself, my family. I hear you. I got two kids myself. Oh, how old are your kids? I got a 2.5-year-old and a 3-month-old. Oh my God, two babies. Blah, blah. Like, dude, when people learn that about you, they don't say, "Well, I don't give you my social." I'm like, bro, I just told you, like, I changed the diaper 20 minutes before this call. You know what I mean? Like, what do you think I'm doing over here? You know what I mean? Like, so that's the part of the call where you gotta get on the same page as people and you eliminate that type of stuff. So if you're getting that consistently, you're probably skipping too fast through that part. Um, we got one more minute. If anybody has any questions, anything else they want to go over. If not, we have our weekly team call right after this. So it's a different Zoom if you're new. So zoom.fflall.com. I'll put it in the group chat. Zoom.fflall.com. So jump on that. I forget who we have as a guest this week, but always have people that are absolutely crushing it. So we'll jump on that and then we'll be back on here tomorrow. But appreciate you guys and we'll get this recording in the WhatsApp group. Later.